Four lads from Liverpool, that you may know as the Beatles, a tiny nation state on the other side of the world that you may have heard of because of Crazy Rich Asians, and a blonde American country singer who is dating an NFL star. What does all this have to do with the renaissance of guitar? Well, as it turns out, a fair bit. I want you to think about culturally defining moments, especially ones that have had to do with music. There aren't that many. In fact, the main one that I can think of happened almost more than 60 years ago, which was the Beatles' appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. That particular event had many ripple effects. It inspired an entire generation of people to pick up music, which still influences us today and influences culture today. But even if you examine that event, it wasn't entirely a global event. Of course, it was massive in the US, it was massive in Europe, and there may have been some people in the other parts of the world that may have heard of it. But those were really the real elite who were connected to the other parts of the world. Majority, the masses, did not know about it. And you did not have color television or television at all, mass television at the time in all over the world to spread this. Beatlemania is another thing that we read about in the history books. Gaggles of screaming girls, crowds, everybody going mad. It's kind of mass hysteria that you wonder whether it actually happened or whether it is just the imagination of historians and rosy tinted people looking back at their time with rose tinted glasses. Well, over the last, I would say, a couple of weeks or so, I have been convinced of three things. Number one, Beatlemania did happen, and Beatlemania has been eclipsed. We'll get to that in a second. I think you can see where I'm going. Number two, it is indeed possible for the entire world, not just the US and Western Europe, but the entire world to be united by one musical movement or event or phenomenon. And number three, best of all of this is centered around, or rather, let me not say centered around because that's not fair, but all of this has a lot to do with our favorite instrument, the guitar. So I live here in Singapore. We have Taylor Swift performing over the next. She's performing for 3 days. She performed yesterday. Today is what day again? Today is 3rd of March. She performed yesterday, Saturday, Sunday. Sorry, I'm losing days now. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And she'll perform again next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It is unbelievable how just a singer, a pop star, a singer-songwriter who also plays guitar, it is incredible how this has impacted the country. It is incredible how it has impacted the region. I want to give you a number which just shocked me. The Taylor Swift coming to this country has raised the quarterly GDP of this country by 25 basis points, 0.25%. Now, it may not sound like much, but no company, nothing ever moves GDP to a noticeable level that you can actually quantify it. But this is what is happening because of the Taylor Swift phenomenon. We're going to have 6 shows of, I think, the total of 400 or 300,000 seats. 40% of the attendance is coming from outside, and it's the mass appeal of the attendance that just shocked me. You have people from the Philippines who are literally spending 2 months, 3 months, 4 months' salary to somehow scrape together a ticket, somehow get here. Somehow, the hotels have gone 10x in terms of pricing. And it's not just that, it is literally on everybody's mind and everybody's lips. Whether I speak to my father in India, he's heard of it. Yesterday night we had dinner with my wife's colleague, and her daughter, 16-year-old daughter, of course, is in the midst of it. Of course, there was a negative event 3 years ago, which everyone was talking about. But since then, I have never seen anything that has quite captured everybody's imagination. And I am starting to think that this must be a little bit of what Beatlemania would have been like, for just something to absolutely dominate everybody's attention. Now, what does all of this have to do with the renaissance of guitar? What am I getting to? I think it has everything to do with the renaissance of guitar. Thing is, Taylor Swift is the. I mean, in the US, of course, her star is flying high. Everything to do with with her link with the size of her tour, with a link with the NFL quarterback. We in this part of the world, when we think of football, we don't think of the NFL. We think of proper soccer, as you call it. But it's Taylor Swift. Even though she's American, her star and her impact is really not restricted to America. It is so worldwide and it is so broad that it is not even funny. And why is this a good thing for guitar? The reason this is a good thing for guitar is think of Taylor Swift in comparison to the multitude of other pop stars that you will see, Ed Sheeran being an exception. Taylor Swift, at the end of the day, is a talented singer, songwriter, sitting down with a guitar and constructing her songs. That's where she got her start. That's where she did a lot of her work. Of course, now she does multiple genres. She has teams and everything. But that is who she is at the core. She is a girl with the guitar singing a song that she has come up with. She writes her own songs as well. And the importance of a person with that profile being such a cultural phenomenon cannot be overstated. It has been well documented over the last 10 years in the US that the number of girls picking up guitar, and in general, because more girls are picking up, more people are picking up guitar as a consequence. That's half the population. That Taylor Swift has been one huge contributor to that. Secondly, guitar still features in her imagery. Of course, her show would have a lot of dancing, a lot of backup dancers, and a lot of spectacles, but she does also play guitar, very visibly so. What this means is, for entire new generation, the 14, 15-year-olds that I was referring to, or even younger, suddenly the pinnacle of cool, the pinnacle of everything everyone wants to be, is a person, a girl playing a guitar. And think of the impact that these seminal moments have on people. I mean, Gibson's entire business model is built on the fact that you had a bunch of people who were young in the 60s and 70s, and they saw Hendrix and play Gibson, but you know what I mean. They saw Clapton and Page and everyone, and now all they want to do is relive that youth. Taylor Swift is that moment. Taylor Swift is the Beatles for you, for the person who's in their teens right now, guy or girl. It's got such a broad appeal, especially here in Asia. It's not that it's only teenage girl, it's everybody. So the image of a person, a girl with a guitar, that being the pinnacle of cool, is suddenly, it was running out of steam a while ago because everybody who were young in the 60s and 50s were no longer being, let's face it, culture is a young person's game. So the moment you're past your 40s and 50s and 60s, you're not forming culture. You're remembering a culture of a different era. But now, guitar, a girl playing a guitar is at the center of the craziest phenomenon that has hit the world. And I would argue this is a bigger phenomenon than Beatlemania, because when Beatles hit the market, the world wasn't as globalized. The world did not listen to the same music. The world did not have such a common understanding of popular culture like it does today. But it does that today, and Taylor Swift is here in that moment. She's bigger than the Beatles. She definitely is. And all the young kids, people, even in their living memory, 50 years from now, 60 years from now, 70 years from now, this is going to sustain. So I just feel that the future of guitar has also been secured. So it's a little bit ironic, right? We have been waiting for the messiah of guitar, right? We had Eddie Van Halen, we had Hendrix, and we had Van Halen. Then, of course, Slash also brought the guitar to the popular forefront, and you could argue Kurt Cobain as well. Since then, we have been waiting for the messiah of guitar. We expected it will be somebody who will come and redefine what guitar sounds like, what guitar means, and they will just inspire generations to pick up the guitar, just like Hendrix did, just like Van Halen did. That's what we thought. In fact, I even wrote a book about it. I have a book, I'll just plug it here since I just mentioned it. The God of Sex and Golden Rock and Roll is literally about the emergence of the next rock star. That's what it is. But as it turns out, life isn't, and fiction, some, I think Oscar Wilde said that life is often stranger than fiction. So as it turns out, it has happened. It has happened in our plain sight. We've been waiting for the Messiah of guitar, but really, she is here. She is not a shredder. She is not technically accomplished or anything, but that doesn't matter. She's probably had a bigger impact on more people of either, of different, from different walks of life, from different genders. Everybody, she has had more of an impact on people picking up guitar and it's staying relevant in the popular culture than any of the shredders out there. So, it wouldn't be, most people would say that, hey, if you are a serious guitarist, you're like, yeah, I'm a Taylor Swift fan. That would seem like a little bit silly, but I don't think it's silly at all. I think she's a pretty good songwriter. And I'm so glad that and she's continuing to inspire a lot of people to continue playing guitar. And that'll keep my favorite instrument relevant and yours too. Okay, I hope this was interesting. Till next time.